Welcome to the UFC presidential election of 2024. I voted, all right? I voted today. I voted for one of these two competitors, one of these two conflicting parties. I did vote for one, and now it's your turn. Watching this video is now your turn to vote for one of these guys. As you guys know, for our 2024 UFC presidential debate, the two major candidates are Alex Pereira and Israel, the last stylebender, Adesanya. Now, in this video, I'm gonna be going through the pros and cons of both of these champions. So essentially, let me explain to you guys what's happening right now. So I'm gonna say two champions. Only one person can be champion of the UFC, period, all right? They're gonna have a belt, the other person will not. So one person is going to be the leader of the UFC, the face of the UFC. They will have the title. They'll be known as the champion in the UFC. Now, I picked Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira to compete against each other for this debate. And this is not really a debate, election, for multiple reasons. Given their history, given everything done in the UFC, they both have accomplished careers. So I'm going to be going through both fighters' pros and cons. And at the end of the video, you have to go down below and comment who you're voting for. Majority rules, the majority will win. Whatever gets the most comments will win the 2024 UFC presidential elections. Now, as an unbiased counterpart of this, I will be saying their pros and their cons, and I will be unbiased. I know, listen, ignore the flag behind me. That's just AI generated. That's not even real. I have no bias to any party, but I will be honest. So starting off with the Pereira party. So let's talk about Pereira's pros and cons as the electoral champion of the UFC. So what does Pereira do good? His pros: entertaining fights. When President Pereira comes on the scene, he comes with entertaining fights. He's not one of these champions who are going to have facades and have boring or lackluster fights. No matter who Pereira is fighting, it's going to be entertaining. Now, as a UFC watcher, as a UFC fan, we want to see entertaining fights. So if we elect Alex Pereira as president, we will be blessed with entertaining fights, banger fights, and all of the above. And also expect knockouts. We are expecting finishes. Alex Pereira has finishes every single one of his fights in the UFC outside of Jan Blachowicz. Every other win outside of Jan Blachowicz and Bruno Silva, actually. So Jan Blachowicz and Bruno Silva, only people who ever went the distance with him. Other than that, he's going in there and finishing these guys. So we want to see our president go in there and be able to finish someone. So I feel like if you like the entertainment aspect, the fashion, he goes in there and just imposes his will, then you're going to want an Alex Pereira. His hairline is a little bit all right, too. It's all right. It's a little bit crooked because he kind of goes bald to, like, make sure we don't see it's crooked. But I see that shit. I kind of see through that. But I ain't trying to throw shade at him. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to say too much. So I'm going to just say entertaining and a lot of knockouts. Another positive thing that he has, another pro, is his aura-filled walkouts. First of all, aura in itself, every time he walks in a room, they know President Pereira just walked in. They feel the energy. They feel the vibe. They feel the masculine energy off the guy. They're like, oh my God, look at this dude, bro. Look at the cock on this guy. You know what I'm saying, dude? They're like, yeah, I'm glazing. He's cowabunga, dude. That's how he makes people in a room say cowabunga. People don't say that word. That word is not in people's vocabulary. But when Pereira walks in the room, they're like, cowabunga, dude, rock on. You know what I'm saying? So that just shows the effect he has on the American citizens. So I am going to say that's a really big pro for someone like Alex Pereira. In addition to that, he has funny skits, all right? He's kind of funny at times, you know. Him and his skits will go over Teixeira, if you guys seen it. He does some funny content there. So these are what we want to see in a champion. Kind of funny, you know what I'm saying, aura-filled, entertaining fighter. This already looks like President Pereira is looking really good. The Pereira party, the Poetard party, they look like they're going to be a very encouraging group of people. You know what I'm saying? But there's cons to this, bro. There's cons to President Pereira. One, like I said earlier, the Poetards. The party who back him, they're very aggressive. They're very uninclusive. They hate everyone, bro. They're very negative if you say anything negative about him. I've even heard they beat up a man for no reason just for saying President Izzy, you know what I'm saying? They smack the guy in the face. So they're very aggressive, cult-like fan base, which is dangerous. It's dangerous to be something like this. You know what I'm saying? We want, as Americans, we want respect. You know what I'm saying? We want to believe that we all could be in unity. But when this Poetard clan's running around and just slicing people's head off, punching people up, we don't really want to see that. So that's a really big con for the Pereira party. In addition to that, he's supposed to be running America. He's supposed to be running the UFC company in America, and he lacks English. He can't speak English. So we're gonna have a President Pereira who has to get up and do these rallies and do these speeches, and he has a translator right next to him. We got Paulino Cruz, right? Like, what's going on, bro? You're supposed to be leading this UFC company, but you're not speaking English. That's a very big, I don't know, you know, I really got to check that a little bit, you feel me? So that's a big, dangerous part. And another thing with Pereira that people kind of notice is he doesn't challenge himself versus wrestlers or different styles of fighting. You notice that every single one of his fights, he's only won against strikers. As a president, we want to see you have to go through adversity. Like, what if you're not comfortable in the setting? What if you have to go against a wrestler? Are we going to count on you to keep defending your belt, or are you going to lose the belt for us in this country? Are you going to get beat up by a Russian? Ain't alive, you know what I'm saying? Are you going to get beat up by one of these guys? Like, we need to trust that you're challenged and you've been in there with, different experience of fighters. So that's another big thing from Pereira. And another big thing is he's known for ducking fights and being protected, all right? So he's known for ducking fights, as in this guy, Magomed Ankalaev, who's president of Russia right now, running through it. He's the uncrowned Russian champion. He's looking to come over here and destroy Pereira. And Pereira's not even president. He's already kind of ducking and avoiding the fight, saying he wants him to wait. So, as President Pereira continues to get all these rallies and all these people hyped up, it's very concerning that he's a little bit scared of the Russian leader, Magomed Ankalaev. So that's a really big part too. So those are the pros and cons of Alex Pereira. So if you're still a part of the Potard party, good job. Just be less aggressive, but good job. You know what I'm saying? Now we're going to be going over to President Israel Adesanya. Let's talk about Adesanya. First of all, pros. Unlike Pereira, Izzy fights everyone and anyone. He fights different styles of fighters. This means that he's not only going to just fight strikers, he will go to Russia and fight those Russian wrestlers. He will fight the Hamzats. He said he wanted to fight these guys. He's going in there. He's not scared of anyone. He's not protected. He doesn't give a fuck. He won't duck no fade. Every single time Adesanya was champion, he was fighting the next contender up. And another thing to expect from him, another big pro, is his masterclass performances. Now, whether it's a masterclass performance against someone like Robert Whittaker, going in there and just absolutely annihilating him, destroying him, counterpunching him to oblivion, beating him in a rematch by points, showing that he could beat him by knockout and points, beating an undefeated prospect from Brazil like Paulo Costa, at the time who at the time was Brazil's president. 13-0, running through the whole world. Then Israel Adesanya shut that shit down. You know what I'm saying? You can expect masterclass performances like that. Even don't tell people this, but I heard that Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira fought multiple times, but the last time they fought, which is the only time people remember, the last time they fought, someone got frozen like Elsa. There's no footage of this, but there is speculation that they got in a fight recently and somehow Adesanya put him to sleep. I don't know if it's true. I know presidential people aren't allowed to link up before the debate, but I heard someone got frozen like Elsa. My sources are telling me Adesanya was the guy to do the knockout. You hear me? So, like I said, I don't really know for sure, but based on my sources who are very trusted, someone got frozen like Elsa and it wasn't Adesanya. So if that's true, that's cool. Another positive for Israel Adesanya is he speaks English, bro. He speaks fluent English. He doesn't have to have a translator in his rallies or have a translator when he's saying a speech, because he knows how to speak the language. So that's even more impressive. He defended his title multiple times. You know what I'm saying? That's even more impressive. Like, if you guys don't remember, this time Alex Pereira, President Pereira, before he was in election, he had a championship known as the middleweight title. Don't really know what that means, but he had a championship known as the middleweight title and defended it 0 times. Very interesting. Listen, these are all like speculations. I don't know for sure if that ever happened, but apparently it happened. I don't know who he lost the title to. I don't know who his first defense was supposed to be a middleweight, but all I know is it didn't go the way he wanted. So that's another big part for Adesanya. Like, when he had the strap of the middleweight, he was defending it very well. And another big bonus, like I talked about earlier, is just taking hard stylistic fights. He doesn't just fight one style like President Pereira does. Now, what are cons for Israel Adesanya? Because there is cons. There's cons for every presidential candidate. But for Israel Adesanya, his cons are he was known for having 1 or 2 boring fights. People even try to elongate and say more because he's not really a big someone people love in the national eye. A big fight that people point to is when he fought the Cuban president, Yoel Romero, and did beat him, but they just weren't liking how non-aggressive Adesanya was, even though the Cuban leader was also non-aggressive. So it was a little bit weird, but they all blame it on Adesanya because the Cuban president wasn't moving forward. Really weird, man. I don't know what's going on sometimes. Like, it's like they like to blame Adesanya for things. I don't know. And then other people say when he fought Jared Cannonier, who was like a vice president at the time for America, and he beat him up really well. And the fact that Jared Cannonier wasn't engaging and backing up, they blamed Izzy for that. A little bit weird too, but other than that, I don't really know other boring performances. They try to say when he fought that Italian president, Vittori, like, that was boring. That didn't make any sense. He just mastered 50-45 an entertaining fight. They just say it's boring because they don't like it. So yeah, like two boring fights at maximum. And another thing that people don't like about Adesanya is when he's at his rallies, when Adesanya is saying his speeches, he's known, how do I say this nicely, for having cringe one-liners. So, he might be, saying stuff that might come out insensitive, like crumble, like the Twin Towers. Like, I ain't gonna say too much because I don't want to get in trouble for saying what he said, but he said stuff that can sound insensitive sometimes, some one-liners that people find cringe or corny. So as someone who's going to be a president, who's going to speak before the country, like, I feel like, the UFC America, they don't want people to be like a laughing stock, I guess, or like cringe during his rally. So they say that's a big negative about Israel Adesanya. And then another big negative that I'm not really going to talk about is like apparently did something about his personal life that is not even true, not even proven true, but I'm not even getting into it. But people just don't like him because they blame something like that. I don't know. But those are the pros and cons for both candidates. We are going to find out the winner by the end of the day. But how do you guys pick the winner? You have to vote. You have to get down in this comment section below and vote for who you believe is fit to run the UFC America. And I think, I think I know who I voted for. As you see, I did vote, chat. I did vote. I voted for. And I don't want to disclose my vote because I don't want to influence anyone in the comment section, but I just want y'all to vote, and I want to see who's going to come out on top. I have my theory. I kind of know who's going to win because I kind of know how some people view one guy and some people view the other guy. But listen, you got to listen. You had to watch the pros and cons. Like, if you actually listen to pros and cons, who do you want running your country? If you want someone who doesn't speak English, that's up to you. Someone who avoids fights with people from Russia. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to convince you a certain way, you feel me? But I feel like there's someone who's not ducking, who doesn't pick fights, who fights any stylistic fight, who's calling out the guy from Russia named Hamza, who's even crazier than that guy Ankalaev, I heard. Like, that Hamza guy has some screws looses, and Izzy wants to fight him. So, hey, man, it depends what you like. If you just want entertaining, knockout fest, but the guy's not going to speak English, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to challenge himself, not going to defend the country against these tough competitors. Take that. If you just want entertaining fights against nobodies, unranked people from fucking Ireland and shit, go take Alex Pereira. If you want someone who's going to fight for the country anytime, anywhere, any place, but you might have to sit through a couple boring one-liners in his speeches or cringe one-liners, then I know who you would pick. But do you want someone who's going to fight for your country or safely fight for your country and only fight for people he thinks he could beat? Let me know down below, bro. Like I said, I'm not trying to convince too much. I hope I convince some people, to sway a certain way, but I know who's going to pick. So that's it for me, bro. Let me know who y'all going to vote for down below. And then I'm going to crown the winner, my live stream tonight. But that's it for me, and God bless. 2, 3.